All right. So another candidates game.
Yes, against Larsen, and it was again very unpleasant game for Larsen because it was finally, a winning game for White. Quiet immediately after the opening because he didn't pay attention. The move order was very important, in such a game. And we'll see what happens when we have a small mistake in the opening. You see.
Mhm.
So okay, move order shows in attack against this line from black.
So far theory. So
Yeah,
far up
everything
to
is
here.
theory, of course. Yes, bishop e7, bishop e3, castle. Okay, f4. Well, first of all, here black can play immediately here e5. Okay, it's complicated. Maybe white is a little bit better. If you play e5, okay,
Yes.
e5 takes. No, takes first in in c6 because if
Okay.
you take immediately, you can take back with the knight. You see. So okay, takes, and now you have to decide. If you play f5 immediately, then black can play immediately bishop a6 or bishop b7, and if he arrives to d5, he's all right, for black. Okay, if you take in e5, it's maybe a little bit better for white, but it's not clear because he controls the square d5. If white can't come immediately with a piece of d5, white maybe is a little bit better, but not very much. Okay, so all right, he didn't play like this, and after f4 he played bishop d7. When waiting, all right, he waits, and after castle, now again he had probably to take in d4, bishop takes d4, and bishop c6 against a little bit better for white, but nothing decisive. It's unclear. Yeah, black can play a6 already mistake, here, and from now on we have the game. Here it starts f5. Now is again very unpleasant for black because if you play like this, bishop c8, queen c8 is artificial, and we see immediately why. Now in a few moves, white can show that he has a very strong initiative and probably decisive advantage immediately after the opening, which is very surprising by this level. So queen c8, mistake, So he took in e6. Now, if you take back with the pawn, normal,
Yes.
after knight f5, probably in a few moves you resign.
Why? Because
Because if you lose the pawn in d6, is enough. And with such a bad pawn in e6, it can be attacked again. But even if you lose only the bishop against knight, is still very bad for black because you have very strong bishop for white, the black bishop, and a very unpleasant position for black. So he took with the bishop, which is against the rule. I mean, is almost lost after the opening. So now white takes, and now decisive knight a4. What to do here? You lose something. You lose exchange or pawn. If you lose the exchange, it's finished. If you lose the central pawn from e6, against, it's very bad. So from here, Larsen realized that the thing is very bad, and he put from now on a very strong resistance, but it's too late. White has to realize the advantage, but it's clear that white has a winning position. Rook b8 is against the possibility to lose the exchange immediately now. So here knight b6, queen e8, and he lost the pawn with check.
yeah.
Okay, so all right. King h8. Now it's clear. Bishop f5, provoking g6. If black plays here g6, after bishop h3, no, g6,
Yes.
g6, attacking the bishop to take back the pawn.
Yeah.
He can take now in e4, and here he can take with check. Bishop takes now, and knight d7. Very bad. What can you play here? Lost position already. If he took with the queen, he lost immediately after the exchange and the game after knight d7.
Yeah.
But even here, it's completely winning for white now, this position. One check is enough. If I give you in good position one check, you can resign. All right, so he realized he can't take back the pawn with g6, and he had to continue positionally, with knight e5, trying to have some small counter chance. Now we can see the level of Fischer's technique. I mean, how he realized the winning position. It's not immediate, not in a few moves, but it's a lesson again, you know. Queen d4, queen h5. Okay, knight d5. All right. So black takes, no? Takes with the queen, of course, because if he takes with the pawn, he loses a piece, no?
Yeah.
Okay, he took with the pawn, queen e2, the best counter chess. It seems that black has a small, you know, a small counterplay, of course, no? Okay, bishop a7, very good, you know, tempo move, attacking the rook. Now he has to move the rook, and now with tempo again, rook f2, everything is protected, you see. Queen b5, he tries to have something on the queen side, controlling the squares. Okay, he's lost, of course. But he puts a very strong resistance, the best resistance he can put here, you know, in such a position, you know. So white is playing c3 quietly, you know. Now, if you take in d5, you are lost in any endgame, of course, no? Later on.
So why he didn't took the queen here?
You know, he takes, and then later on he comes with the bishop in e6. He can take, of course. But if he takes the pawn from b5 in some artificial position, he controls both squares, a4 and c4.
Okay.
And he wants to come with the knight in c4 and the bishop in f6 with some small, you know, initiative for black. You see.
Okay.
So, all right, he plays this, you know, quiet there.
But
And
this pawn is not unprotected here?
No, it's protected. The rook from f2.
Yeah, the rook, yes.
He attacks the rook. Okay.
Yes.
So, d3, of course. And right here, that was Larsen's idea. We'll see later on in a few moves. He took. And now, bishop f6. He's preparing knight c4. This is the idea, to play knight c4. And here white played rook f1. Well, everything is ready. The next move in any position, by normal play, he is preparing the move bishop e6, but not immediately, because bishop e6 immediately gives the possibility knight d3. So he is preparing rook f1. And here black, very happy that finally he found a small counter chance, played the move knight c4, and after bishop e6, he could play finally rook a8, you know, attacking the bishop. Now the only good move for white is bishop d4, and it seems that with the double pawn on the d file,
yes,
he has a small chance to make a draw, you know, to have an even game. Okay, so he played back bishop d4.
But he can take because then this rook, I mean...
No, not him. No, but he's pinned, you know. He can't take
he's pinned,
because
exactly,
he's pinned.
Sorry,
Therefore,
yes.
that was his hope, you know.
Yes, yeah.
So he took back, and now rook takes, and okay, b5. If you look at this position, it seems that black, you know, has a small chance to have an even game.
Yes.
But the reality is that white is completely winning here. No, he has only to show it. How, you see? All right. King f1. Preparing the endgame. I mean, the king comes to d3 later on, you know, in the center, you know. So black is playing also g6, I mean, to do something, to come out with his king later on, you know. b3, knight a3, knight a3 controls later on the squares again. He's preparing to play b4 and knight b5 back in the game, attacking the pawn from d4. But it's too late, you know, because it's clear the bishop from e6 controls everything, is decisive in any endgame, you see, because black will lose the central pawn d5, d6, and that's enough, you know. Here, okay, we'll see the rest. Knight a3, king e2, he's coming, you know, rook a7 on the black squares, right? And now exactly here, rook f8 check, king g7, rook d8. Now white is coming and he wins the d6 pawn. It's enough, you know. So b4, the only counter chance, takes, knight b5. Okay, rook b6, knight d4 check, first takes, and now he took back. Now if you take with the pawn, he has a small chance to make a draw, because the king comes to f6. Well, also very small chance, but okay, a small chance. But he's taking back with the with the rook. And the position is completely winning because after a5, king d4, king f7, rook e2, resign. The d pawn wins in every position. Now it's very clear. White wins immediately in a few moves by playing here simply d6, king c5, or king d5, and no counterplay.
So this pawn will...
No, wins in any position. Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Demonstration
Yeah, he
again.
resigned here.
Yeah, but no move. For instance, rook d7, no? Rook d7, king c5. The rest is very clear.
He's just coming this way? Or
Well, if he gives check, everything wins. King b6 wins, king d6 wins, king b5 wins. Everything wins. Yeah, king b5 is probably the best, or king b6, because you lose everything here afterwards.
you lose these 2 pawns.
Oh, if you lose one pawn is enough, But okay, if you lose both.
So if he comes here, that's the best
Now
way?
king c6, yes. You have to move rook d8, and after rook d8, d6. And okay. Anybody would win.
Even myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The position is completely winning, Even a smaller, a weaker player would win against a very strong grandmaster because the decisive advantage is there,
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
It was necessary only to show a very good technique. And okay, from Bobby, What
It's
do you
happening.
think?
Yes, beautiful.
Immediately after the opening, you see, okay, it was a mistake from Larsen. We agree,
Yeah.
Move order, he played badly the opening. 2-3 times. 2-3 times. 2-3 small mistakes is more than enough against such a strong opponent,
Yeah.
Yeah. Punishment, It
Deserves
was
it.
it was like a game. Cat against mouse, like this, Of course, Bobby was the cat, Yeah.
Yes, clear. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
You're